Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Christina Hibbert and welcome back to our This Is How We Grow Personal Growth Group Season 2. So I know many of you joined us last year for Season 1 and we have many new members that are just joining us now for Season 2. Welcome to everybody. I'm excited for this year. I'm excited to introduce to you our new theme in just a few minutes for the year that we're going to be working on. And I just wanted to say that if you are new to the group or even if you're in the group and just never quite got around to all the other lessons, that's okay. There's no prerequisite that you have to have participated last season in order to join us now for Season 2. But I will say that I do recommend it. I recommend that if you haven't yet watched those videos or partaken of those lessons, that you go do that, just because we're going to be building on those things that we learned last season and continuing to grow. Last season our theme was the seasons of personal growth. And we talked about falls and winters and springs and summers in our life. And now this year, we're going to be adding to that theme. And last year, of course, most of the themes came from my book, This Is How We Grow. So if you've read that book, that's also kind of a good foundation for what we've already been talking about. But if you haven't, you might want to, read some of those things or go watch some of the videos to just kind of understand some of what we'll be discussing, because I will refer to them from time to time. Though they're not a prerequisite, I do recommend it. Other than that, I'm grateful that you're here. I'm really excited for this group. And I hope that you're ready to get to work this year, because we've got an exciting new theme that I feel applies to all of us in some way or another and continues to apply to us as our life seasons continue to change and grow. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But I also hope that you're willing to reach out and really connect this year. The whole purpose of this group is that, first of all, I brought it online because I wanted to make it more accessible to people that aren't able to do an in-person group. And I wanted to share the things that I've been doing with my in-person group for over 4 years. We just did our first session of Season 5 of our in-person group last night, and it went really well. And we're doing the same theme that we're doing here in the online group. And it's a great place for me to get support. I realize it's been 4 years and over 4 years now, and I've been to every single group meeting because I was running every meeting. And so that's been a lot of groups that I've attended personally. And of course I enjoy doing the group because I enjoy getting to teach a lesson and to be the leader of the group. But I really have enjoyed getting to participate in the group and making friends and friendships that are really deep and meaningful. Being there for one another as we've grown together through this group has been a really valuable experience for me. And those meetings really help me form and pull together these lessons that I do online. So I encourage you to do the same, to use this group for what it's intended for, to grow personally, but also to connect with other people so that you can have that support, encouragement that we all need as we choose to grow. If there's one thing I've learned in my life through my experiences and as I get older, it's that we definitely need each other. I recently quoted Debbie Ford from her book, Dark Side of the Light Chasers, in the blog post related to this new group and our new theme. I quoted her by saying, "We cannot see ourselves. We need a mirror to see ourselves. You are my mirror and I am yours." And I believe that to be 100% true, that we need each other more than we realize. And I know personally I have a tendency to isolate, especially in times of need. And this summer I had another wake-up call of that when I was going through grief over the loss of my dear friend, and my family was grief-stricken, and it's just been a really hard summer for us. My friend invited me to a pedicure, and we went out together and we started talking, and I started sharing with her how hard this grief had been for me, and it felt like losing another sister for me all over again. And for my kids, like losing another mother figure. And so as I was telling her this, she really started to grasp what I was going through, because not everybody knows. And that's one thing that's great about the group, is that when we start to talk and share with people, people do know what you're going through, and they have a new respect for you and understanding, and they can be there for you in ways that they can't if they don't know. And not only that, but she also said to me, she said, "Christy, we live near each other. We're in the same church. We go to the same church. We have the same group of friends. Our kids are at the same school." She said, "I've seen you at church and everywhere." She's like, "Everybody asks you for their help all the time. I see that all the time, and you're always helping other people, but who do you turn to when you need support and help?" And it really made me think, because I realized that I do have, some family members and friends who I trust and who can really help me, but I just am not good at reaching out to them when I need to. And talking with her was such a big help to me, and it really made me realize I needed to open up to more people that could help and support me through my growing experience during the summer. So, you know, and it doesn't even have to be these life-changing events, but these big, sad, tragic events, but, you know, other life-changing events that can even be happy. Like my son went away to college, as many of you know, and I found myself completely distraught and crying and just not confused. I didn't really understand what I was feeling because I thought I was prepared, and I was just really emotional. And of course I posted online about it, and I got some great supportive comments about, you know, what other people had been through and their advice for me. But one friend in particular, she texted me when I got home that first night and said, "What does it feel like?" And to me, that's another thing that this group does. It kind of helps us to get in with each other and say, what does it feel like? What's it like to be you? What's your experience? And we can grow and share together. And that to me was the most helpful. She wanted to understand me and where I was coming from. And that helped me in more ways than she really probably even realized. We just texted back and forth for a little while, and I explained what it felt like to not only have my first son leave, but to feel like my whole life was changing, and we were getting into this next phase of life, and it's a lot of change and a lot of loss again. But then she sent me Taylor Swift's song, Shake It Off, which, you know, was fun and kind of helped me just smile and get out of it for a little bit. So whether it's the really hard times or the naturally hard times, all these seasons of growth can be hard, and we need each other. So I hope you will reach out, whether it be, you know, family members getting together to talk about lessons that you watch together, or calling somebody or best friend or somebody else that you know that's doing the lessons, and just talking and saying, hey, what did you think of this, and what are you working on, so that you have some accountability and some support and some friendship, and that we're there for each other. We really do need each other to grow. We cannot do it on our own. So that's the whole point of this group. So those are kind of the reminders for the group. And as we get started introducing our new theme, I want to introduce how this year is going to work. And so this video will be a little longer than the others, because I'm going to really work hard to make the videos and the lessons shorter this year, so that they're focused in. They still have the same great content with assignments to give, but also that they can be shorter so that it's easier to do. And also we're going to add extra materials, so that if you want to add more resources and materials to help you in your personal growth, that we will have those available to you, but that you don't have to do that, so that you have options. So some of the exciting things we're going to be adding along with the shorter videos this year is, first of all, Google Hangouts, which if you haven't done that before, I actually haven't done it before, and we're going to try it. It's going to be fun this year, but it's a great way to connect live online. So for instance, if you want to, you can be part of the live event. You can show up on the screen with me. We can interact, and you can ask questions. I can talk back. So we're going to have some sessions this year where we go on the Google Hangouts, and people can ask questions, and we can talk about what we're working on. So it's kind of like that in-person group idea, but live online. And then the great thing is that it gets recorded, so people that can't join us live can watch it later. So that's one exciting thing we're going to add. I'm also going to be adding some workshops and webinars that are going to be online for people who want more specialized attention in different areas. Some of the most popular topics that I teach on, I'm going to start doing those things online, so that you can have those resources available if you'd like to participate. And I'm also adding some consultation services. So because I can only do therapy in Arizona, because that's where I'm licensed, consultation's a little bit different. It's not therapy, but it's just 1 to 3 hour-long sessions that we get together online through Skype or FaceTime, and I can consult with you and kind of give you some input on things you might need. I've only got a few slots available, and they book up quickly, but I've done a couple of them already, and it's been very valuable for people in the group just to say, hey, this is what I'm going through, and I don't know where to turn, and I don't know what my local resources are, and I'm really stuck on this issue, and I don't know how to get through this. And for those that really need that extra one-on-one attention, that's another great resource that we're going to be adding this year. So a lot of fun things and other fun things online on my website at drchristinahibbert.com. You can check it out and watch for these things to start appearing either in your emails as a reminder, or online on my website. Okay, so that being said, I would like to first introduce our theme. Then we're going to take some time to work on our homework, which is going to be, we're going to have a lot to do this month, because it's our month of getting real, getting honest, getting clear on where we are and what we're trying to accomplish this year in our personal growth group. So, our theme for the year then. I've been working really hard to figure this out all summer long, and I've been trying to think about what are the things that people ask me the most about, that they want to learn the most about, that I do the most with people in therapy, that people in this group have been asking about. And I came up with a theme that I feel applies to all of us, no matter what phase of life, what season of growth we're in, whether we're overcoming, becoming, or flourishing. And that is this theme: meaning, purpose, and fulfilling your life's calling. Now, to me, this is an exciting theme, and it lights me up. It's something I've been working hard on really all my life, but especially the past years, as I've been trying to figure out what am I here to do and what's my purpose and what things are just distracting me from what really matters. And it's something that we can work on whether we're in a time of overcoming, whether we're in a time of becoming, or a time of flourishing. You know that that's my tagline online. And we think about the times of overcoming, the times when we're really struggling with a life challenge. For instance, this summer when, after my friend had died and my family was struggling through grief and I was struggling, and I kind of felt like, Heavenly Father, why was I given this challenge again? I've had so much death, so much loss. It felt to me like another sister lost. I've already lost two. And it felt to my kids like another mother figure lost to them. And it felt like, I'm helping their family out with their children. It feels like I'm helping raise more children, which I'm grateful for these experiences, but it's kind of like, why am I still being given the same exact experiences? And I had those times of why? And as we learned in This Is How We Grow, in the book, sometimes we really need to ask how, and also, what does this mean? What can this mean for me? And am I being prepared? And so in our times of overcoming, the thing that really helped me again this summer, and it helps me always, is to find the meaning and the purpose in the things that really are hard. And so we're going to work on that, how to find the meaning and purpose in the challenges that life faces and the things that we're trying to overcome, whether it be a habit or a mental illness or a time of grief. And we're going to also then work on becoming, which to me is, figuring out who we really are, getting in tune with our self-worth, and really connecting with our higher power and understanding, kind of the bigger picture of who we really are and seeing our potential. And so that obviously lends itself well to this topic of meaning, purpose, and life's calling. And, whereas in overcoming, we might be working on things like self-care and really, trying to get through challenges. In becoming, we're going to be working on self-esteem and self-worth. I know we've talked about it, but really we need to go through that pyramid of self-worth and really get good at self-awareness and self-acceptance and self-love, so that we can feel that self-worth, so that we can then be fulfilling our life's calling and really, feel worthy of it. I think a lot of us, what holds us back is that we don't believe in ourselves, and we don't really feel worthy of having any kind of purpose here, and we don't believe that we do. But I can tell you 100% you do. Even if you're questioning me right now, you do. We all have a purpose here, and it's important for us to work on that. And then, of course, flourishing, which to me, the flourishing is equivalent to fulfilling our life's calling. When we are flourishing, we are actively fulfilling the things that we're here to do, and we're being the person that we're meant to be, and we are, living that flourishing life. So those are all part of our theme this year, and I'm really excited to work on it, because I think that, like I said, it can apply to all of us, no matter where we are, no matter what we're going through. So you'll see how that plays out as we go through these different types of topics that build us up to the bigger purpose and calling in our life. So we're going to start today with, we're going to do three things. We're going to talk about getting honest, about commitment, and finally we're going to start by introducing what your life's vision would be. So let's start with getting honest. Getting honest is important at the beginning of any new phase, and this is obviously a new cycle of growth, season 2. Maybe it's your first time working on personal growth. It's just like New Year's, or for me, my birthday, or also for me, my, the beginning of the school year is a time of self-reflection. We really need to start and get honest. So here are some questions, and if you don't have a notebook, I encourage you to get a notebook or a journal for this group. This is the same one I used last year. I have my journal that I write about my progress in, but this just keeps my notes and my assignments handy. And or you can do it on your phone or on your laptop, whatever works for you, just to keep track of assignments is really going to be helpful. So first, let's get honest. I'm going to ask you some questions. I want you to write them down, and then I want you to make me a promise that you will make time, not find time, because that's hard to do, but make time when you can be alone somewhere, comfortable, beautiful, relaxing without people interrupting, or trying to not have people interrupting, because that can be impossible. Let me say, even as I've been making this video, it's taking me like 2 hours to finally get this video done, because people keep calling and showing up and mowing the lawn, and my phone's not working, and all kinds of things have been happening. So I understand how hard it can be. But as I tell my kids, I say, don't have a good day when they walk out the door, and they yell, make a good day, because I want them to know that we really do have some input into how things turn out in our day. So if you really want to work on these things, then you need to put in the time and the work and make the commitment to get honest and answer these questions. Okay, so here we go with the questions. Number one, really it's about, where am I now? Where am I right now in my life? What's going on? What do I need in my life right now? What are my needs? So, really give that some time. Where am I right now? Let's be honest. I'm really doing well in these areas, but man, these other areas, I admit I am not doing so well. I'm really struggling with that. And so then you ask, what are my needs? And I know that's a big, hard question for lots of us, and many of us don't really know what our needs are, or we're not good at meeting them, or even taking the time to ask about them. But really, it's important to stop and say, what are my needs, so that we can understand, begin to then fulfill and meet those needs as we can. Then, what am I already doing to meet my needs? Because the truth is, if you're watching this video, you're already starting. You're already working on personal growth. You're doing something. So what are you already doing to meet your needs? Maybe you had a nap today when you were really tired, or you've been working on getting to bed earlier, or maybe you've been going for walks with friends because you know you need to exercise and you're not going to get to the gym. Whatever it may be, but what are you doing already that's positive? Because we want to strengthen the positives while we also work on and try to overcome the negative stuff that's holding us back, okay? So what am I already doing to meet my needs? Now, this is an important one. What are the blocks to my personal growth? What things are blocking me from my personal growth right now? And that could be anything from, my relationships are taking me away from my personal growth, or a lot of people say time. I don't have time, but we all have time. It's just the question is, why aren't you making time, and why is that not feeling like a priority? And for many, the answer might be because we don't prioritize our needs, and we don't believe that it's really important that we take care of ourselves, or we're not really ready for that commitment of personal growth yet. So, that question again, what is standing in the way of my personal growth, is really important to understand what the blocks are, so that we can then try to overcome them. Gosh, I hope that is not too loud. I'm telling you, it's like every lawnmower in the world is out on the golf course right now, I think. I don't know. Anyway, hopefully you're still hearing me. This is how we grow, right, people? This is how we grow. All right. Then we have the question of, what needs improvement? Okay, so knowing your needs is one thing, but really saying, what do I really want to improve, and what needs my improvement is a whole other question. So really get clear on what needs my improvement in all different realms. That means physically, mentally, emotionally, mentally and intellectually, emotionally, socially, and of course spiritually. What things really need improvement in my life? Where am I doing well, and what needs my improvement? Okay? Now, once you've asked those questions, then we can ask another important question. What are my expectations for this year's group, this year's seasons of growth, for this year's personal growth group? What are my expectations? Because let me tell you, all frustration comes from expectation. That is a quote from John Lund, and it's one I love because it's very true. And so if you have expectations of yourself, like maybe you expect that by the end of the year you are going to achieve X, Y, and Z. Well, it's good to know what we're expecting, because then we can get realistic about what we should or should not be expecting, and what's possible and what's not possible. So as my friend from our group last night pointed out, a better word is intention. What are my intentions for this year? So find your expectations so that you can kind of check them and make sure that they're realistic. But really, intention is a good word. What are my intentions for this year? Because it implies action. It implies you have a goal and you have something you want to work on, and you're going to actually do it. So what are my intentions for this year? Okay? And, you also want to be setting goals. So setting goals is obviously part of this, and you're going to be working on setting goals. And so that's something to keep in mind, but really you need to first understand where you are, what you need, what's going well, what's not going well, and then that's going to lead you into the goal setting part. Now, I want to share a quote that I forgot to share earlier that I think kind of just sums up the theme for this year, and is it's a really just a great quote by Shakespeare. I actually used this in my new book called Who Am I Without You? 52 Ways to Rebuild Self-Esteem After a Breakup. And I loved writing this book this year because it really made me focus on how do I really help myself and other people to go through tough challenges of life, to experience the loss and the grief, to do that overcoming, to work into the becoming, to learn how to embrace our true self-worth, and then to get into the flourishing, to really look for what is our mission and purpose, and to set those kind of goals and achieve those kinds of things that make us flourish. And that's really what this book is about. In fact, I'd love to be able to just reprint the book with different title, for each different category, like 52 ways to build self-esteem after a death or loss, 52 ways to build self-esteem when your mother and your father and your parents or everybody's always told you that you were worthless. I mean, it really is a great book and kind of a model for anybody trying to build their self-worth and their self-esteem. And so part of that is why I chose this theme, because I do talk a lot about this theme in that book, and I'll share little bits of that book with you. It comes out in March 2015. And it's actually already available on Amazon, which I didn't even know. But I guess it's already there, pre-order. That's the great thing about having a great publisher that's just taking care of business for me. So this quote I used in that book, and it's one of my favorite quotes, and I think it perfectly summarizes this whole year's theme, and hopefully can help you kind of keep in the back of your mind what we're working on as you're setting your goals, as you're working on your questions and getting honest with yourself. And here it is. It's by William Shakespeare, and it says, "The meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away." And that's what we're really focusing on. The meaning of life is to find our gift, or gifts, I'll say, because I don't think we all just have one gift. And I know that we each have at least one or many gifts. We just have to seek, find, and develop and share them, because that's the purpose of life, is to develop and share those gifts, give them away. And really, ultimately, when we talk about meaning and purpose and life's calling, I just want to say that we ultimately all have the same calling in life. We ultimately all have the same calling and purpose, and that is to love others, to give great love, and to receive great love, and to complete that cycle of love. As you know, at the end of This Is How We Grow, I talk about love and how important it is, and really that is the ultimate theme for all of us. If you think about it, every life purpose, whether it's writing books, doing videos like this, whether it's being a mother, whether it's being a teacher, or a professional athlete, or an educator in some other capacity, or an entertainer, whatever your life's purpose and calling is, that's just about how you're fulfilling that purpose of loving others. And what Shakespeare says here about giving your gift away, that is love. And so I'm really excited because we get to talk again, and we get to really focus on how to really discover that love within ourselves and really give it away and share it with the world. That's what our life's calling is all about. So that leads us to our next step before we talk about your goals, which is to commit. Commit to what you're going to do this year. And that means that I want you to really focus on what's possible and what's realistic. Now, yes, I would like you to set some goals for the year, to think about not only what you intend to do, but what you're actually going to be focusing on. That helps you to know, if you think about, how you want to be at the end of the year, how you intend to be, that helps you to set the goals to get there. But I want you to know that, I call this a personal growth group and not a self-improvement group, because improvement seems kind of harsh, and it seems to have like a deadline and endpoint, and goals seem to have an endpoint too. It's sort of I'm going to work on this, and then I'm going to achieve it, and I'm going to check it off my list. But growth has no endpoint. It continues on and on. And so I want you to set goals, but I really want you to focus on how you're growing this year too. And so keep that in mind. As I was talking with a friend in the group last night, she said she set 10 goals last year and she didn't achieve any of them. And I reminded her, yeah, but how much did you grow? And she thought, and she's like, well, I realize now I actually did grow a lot. I just didn't achieve those specific goals. So you need to look at it that way, that you want to set the goals, that's great, but really you want to grow. And so you want to look at, how am I changing and how am I improving in the natural growing sense, the same way that the trees and the plants grow. They're continually changing and improving and evolving, but it's not like an endpoint, a deadline, a check off your list. So set the goals, but don't let them be controlling over you and what you're able to do through your personal growth this year. Okay, so once you have your commitment set, your honesty about where you are, then number 3, and the final part, is we just want to learn a little bit about what we're focusing on for this month. And the first step, as I said before, is your vision. And what I call this is your life's vision. And I'm going to read you a little bit from my new book, Who Am I Without You?, about vision and your life's vision. And what I say that in this chapter is live with vision. And there's a quote I use from Helen Keller, which I think is very appropriate. She says, "The only thing worse than being blind is having sight but no vision." And so what we've been talking about here is trying to have some vision for what we want out there in the future, for what we hope for ourselves. And now I want to expand it a little bit more beyond just this season of personal growth group, to have vision and not just sight. Okay? So what is vision? Let me read you a little bit. Living with vision means creating a clear image of what you desire out of life, then remembering and working toward that image. Having a vision includes seeing the best possible outcomes for work, family, personal development, faith, and anything else that matters to you. It also includes seeing the best possible outcome for your future relationships. Okay, there's many different ways for us to discover our life's vision, and we're going to work on that for the very first part of our homework assignment this month. And what I want you to do is, one thing I suggest is to create a list of everything that matters to you. So this is another assignment. Write this down. Write down a list of everything that matters to you. I did this several years ago. I was on a plane to Hawaii, and it's a pretty long flight, so I had lots of time, and I just kept adding to my list. I'd already started it and at home, and I had been adding to it, and before I knew it, the whole page was covered with all these things from, there's things like contribution and faith and, spirituality, family, children, being a good mom. It matters to me that I feel successful in my life, that I love people, that I'm patient, that I have gratitude. There's so many things that can matter to you. So you just make a huge list of all these things. Then, and we might have done a little bit of some of this last season, but it's okay to do it again if you've done this before. Then I want you to look at your whole list of everything on that list and try to group together things that feel similar. So for instance, to me, I had things like compassion and kindness and giving were all important to me. So I grouped them all together with the topic of love. So that became kind of the main theme of those things. Okay, so you try to group like things together, because they're going to be things that are similar, like being a good mother and raising kids that are valuable members of society and feel good about themselves. Those all can be grouped together under family. Okay, that kind of thing. Then once you have everything grouped, you go through and circle the words that feel the most important of all the things on that paper, all the topics that matter to you. What feels the most important? Circle those things and then write them down and choose 3 that feel like the very most important. And again, this is your life's vision, but life's visions change depending on the season of our life and what's going on in our life and the seasons of growth that come. So for instance, my 3 words have been for many years: faith, love, and joy. To me, those 3 things really summarize my entire purpose and my mission and my meaning in life. And so when I have that vision, I can then compare what I'm trying to do in my life with those things and say, is this thing that I'm thinking of doing, is it worth it? Is it part of what I should be doing, or is it just something that's going to distract me from what really matters to me? Or when hard times come, when I'm going through grief or sorrow or once again stuck in the mud, I can think about these things: faith, love, joy, and I can look for these things, these themes in my life, and look for ways that even though I'm really struggling, I really am still working on my love, and I am trying to, tap into my joy, and I am exercising faith in my life. So these 3 things are kind of your vision, and to me, that's what your life vision is all about. It's just having something that you focus on, and maybe it's a kind of a motto that you say to yourself every morning during your spiritual connection time, if you have that, or your meditation, or maybe it's something that you write and put up on your mirror so you see it. Maybe it's something you keep on your phone, so every time you turn it on, you remind yourself, this is what I'm really shooting for in life. Because if we have something to shoot for, we are more likely to get it. And if we set our standards high and realistically high, we continue to grow toward those things. Okay, so that is what I want you to work on this first lesson of season 2 of our personal growth group. And I just want to close with a quote from This Is How We Grow. And I want you to know that, you know, I've been through many seasons of growth myself. This summer was another one when I lost my friend. She took her life as a result of depression. And it's been another rough summer. What I thought was going to be a summer of summer, a season of summer during the summer, was another fall and winter for me. And it just reminds me again why we do what we do, why we're working on this personal growth, because all these things we're given, they all have meaning and purpose involved, and they all have the potential to create us into that person and that being that we're meant to be, and to fulfill those purposes and callings that we're given here in this life. And so I just wanted to remind you of something that to me feels valuable today. This is page 316 of This Is How We Grow. And it says, somehow tonight, 2 years to the day that Shannon died, I know it matters. And that's what I want to tell you. It matters. Every little bit you do matters. You may not reach your goal. You may never reach your goals. It doesn't matter if you reach your goals. That was my point about that. What matters is you are continually striving to be better, to grow, to be the best you can be. I know it matters. Not in the ways I used to believe. It doesn't matter if I leave behind a book or a successful psychology practice. It's great to help people and love them, but once I'm gone, those tangible things fade ultimately. No, what matters is how doing those things changes me, how they become part of me, how I grow. That's what matters for you. And as we discuss meaning, purpose, in your life's calling, I hope you remember this idea that what really matters is how doing all of these things that we're doing, and whatever we choose to do in our life, and whatever life hands us, no matter how muddy it is, how those things change us, and how we choose to grow as we are being changed by those things. That is the message I hope you take this month as you work through your life's vision and getting honest, and get ready for so many other great lessons to come and so many other exciting events this year. It's going to be a great year in our group, and I hope to see you online at my website, drchristinahibert.com, on the blog, and on the videos. Hopefully we'll leave comments, and hopefully on our Facebook group, join us. And until then, until next time, happy growing, everybody. Bye-bye.